This is a strange and unusual thing standing on the train track, a mixture of a train, a car, and an airplane. It was designed with the engine and body of a Welsh train and a car-like structure. It was invented by Valerian Ivanovich, a person from the Soviet Union. It used to perform driving duties for officials. Now we all know that Russia was part of the Soviet Union at that time, and it is a very large country. It would take officers several weeks to travel from one corner to another of the country. In order to make this difficult task easier, William, who was 25 years old at the time, intended to create a new invention. He designed this car-like vehicle that would run on the train track, but it had some additional features. The engine of a vehicle was fitted. A propeller was also installed at the back so that its speed could be increased immediately. This invention, which could travel at an airspeed of 100 kilometers per hour, was named the Aero Wagon. Remember, this is the year 1921, and during that time achieving such speed was truly an extraordinary thing. The Aero Wagon was in such high demand at that time that it went viral throughout the entire Soviet Union, even during its design phase, and everyone eagerly started waiting for it. On the 24th of July, 1921, its first test run took place. The Aero Wagon traveled from Moscow to a city nearly 200 kilometers away, with William, who was the inventor, and a few officials on board. The journey was pleasant and enjoyable while going, but during the return, the Aero Wagon derailed from the tracks and was involved in a terrible accident. All the Soviet officials, including William, were killed in this accident. Welcome Back was shown mourned the loss of the Soviet inventor William, who was not just any ordinary person, but someone whose own invention had led to his untimely demise. In history, there are countless such stories. Let's learn about 4 inventions when they were in their initial phases, but their inventors lost their lives due to their own inventions. Near the coastal town of Plymouth in England, there is an area called the Number 4 Lighthouse, where stones extend up to 12 miles into the sea. In the 17th century, an engineer named Henry Van Standery was carrying out his exploration from this point with his 5 ships. In the darkness of the night, they were unable to see these rocks, which caused their 2 ships to get stuck and eventually break apart. This incident appeared very dangerous to them for the shipping industry in that area. Since they themselves were engineers, they wanted to find a solution to this problem. In 1696, Henry designed a lighthouse that would serve as a signal to ship captains from a distance, indicating to keep away from those rocks. Their design was approved, and they started the construction of the lighthouse using wood and granite. It was a 115 feet tall lighthouse, atop which 60 candles were placed to create a bright room. For the next 7 years, this lighthouse continued to save ships from those rocks. However, one day when Henry was present in the lighthouse, a massive storm hit. It was the largest storm in British history. The strong winds and ocean waves swept away the lighthouse. Since that day, neither the lighthouse was found nor any trace of Henry. Number 3 leaded fuel was the most dangerous invention of its time. He left the inventor behind and caused the loss of lives of over 300,000 people worldwide. Thomas Lightning was the one who first invented lead fuel in the world, the fuel that we use in cars today, whereas unloaded fuel is used, but it was previously called laded fuel. This fuel used land chemicals, which was a significant breakthrough for the automobile industry. Due to this invention, Thomas Lightning also received several awards. However, this fuel increased the quantity of late in the atmosphere, which became a deadly cause of land poisoning. Many workers in their own factory started dying, but the real reason behind this was that no one could figure out the exact timing. After several years of investigation, the decision was made to remove laded fuel and replace it with unladed fuel. However, by that time, it had already caused significant damage to the world. During the age of 51 years, Thomas Edison contracted polio due to land poisoning, and he became bedridden. He designed a police system for his own bed, which allowed him to easily sit up on the bed without any assistance. One day, the wires of the self-made police system got tangled around Thomas Edison's neck, and due to suffocation, he passed away. Number 2. Flying cars have been a prominent part of science fiction stories for a long time. However, now in reality, such flying cars have been built that have even passed intercity flight tests. But the world's first flying car was invented by Harry S. Mollingsky in the 1970s. They had such a great passion for flying cars that they decided to build their own. Harry designed a wing system that could be installed in existing cars, allowing them to fly. In normal conditions, when the car doesn't need to fly, it can still be driven on the road like a normal car. For this purpose, Harry built a prototype using parts from a Cessna aircraft and Ford Pinto. This prototype was referred to as the Food Cessna. On September 19, 1993, the prototype was taken off from Ventura County Airport in California. Harry and his co-pilot had successfully achieved its first takeoff. However, shortly after, the airport manager observed black smoke in the sky. It became apparent that the flying car had crashed, causing dark clouds of smoke to hover over the entire city. The investigation revealed that a fault in the food system during the construction of the food system, some parts were poorly welded, which led to this horrific incident. Additionally, the pilot of the Number 1 Maxwell Air was an Australian aviator who had taken a significant lead in the race for innovation. They wanted to build a spacecraft that could take humans into space. They were well aware that high speed is essential for space travel. At that time, airplanes did not have such high speeds. Therefore, Max first created a rocket that was installed on a car. With the help of this rocket, the car was able to achieve a speed of 232 kilometers per h, which was successful for terrestrial travel but insufficient for space travel. Max intended to develop a fuel that would burn at a higher speed by changing the rocket fuel. On the 18th of March 1930, he was conducting an experiment to create this new fuel when something went wrong, and the rocket burst open severely. This was the first incident and the first death in the invention of the spacecraft. If Max were alive today, he might have witnessed how advanced the thing he was trying to invent has become. Hopefully, you will like and share this Back in Time video. See you in the next fantastic video. Take care and goodbye.